If you're looking to score a CLB 9, you need 88 to 90 points in the PTE Core writing module. The total score is 90. So that means you basically need a perfect score, 90 out of 90. And this is one of the many students in the last few months from HZad Education who has scored a perfect 90 in PTE Core writing, which is really a feat because it is supposed to be no mistakes when you score a 90, and I'll show you what this looks like. This is this student's last homework before he went to the exam. His name is HZad, very talented student, and again, perfectly followed the templates, the structures. I'll show you how you can also achieve a 90 if you write like this. Remember, the writing module in PTE Core is the hardest module, and you're marked by an AI with very strict guidelines, and that's exactly what we'll go through in this writing. Now you can see the question right here. There's the question, and you can read it. I'm not going to read it. Okay, I'll jump into the answer, but you can pause the video and read it. There are 3 bullet points. Basically, we're writing to a community center and we're giving some suggestions. Now, the word limit here is 100 to 120. Remember that, 100 to 120. If you do any word more or less than this limit, you will 100% lose your marks. This letter, I believe, was around 107, if I'm not wrong, if I remember correctly. So we start with Dear Mr. Anderson, and in this case, the question tells you to start with Mr. Anderson. Doesn't really say start with that, but it says write an email to this person. So obviously you want to say Dear Mr. Anderson. We always recommend this. Please don't say to whom it may concern, and avoid job titles too. Don't say Dear HR Manager or Dear Recruiter. Use an imaginary name if it's not given, and make sure to use Mr. or Miss if it is a formal email, and 80% of the times it is a formal email. There's no subject, no date, nothing needed. And when you finish with your paragraphs, we'll just look at the finish first. You can use best regards and yours sincerely. I should say or, not both. Here he used yours sincerely and full name because you should use full name in the formal letters or emails. You can see the structure is 5 paragraphs, which is perfect. For PTE Core, your questions in writing task 2, which is your email, is going to have 3 bullet points. That means you need 3 body paragraphs and an intro and a conclusion totaling 5 paragraphs. You have to divide it like that. In each paragraph, you should have a maximum of 1 to 2 sentences, and I believe the student just had 1 sentence in each paragraph. So 1 to 2 sentences, because if you write anything more, you're going to increase the word limit, and you have to compress it, especially if you're coming here from IELTS or CELPIP. This is really short. You cannot write more than 120. These sentences have to be simple and complex, and I'll get into that discussion, and I will get into all the vocabulary and everything great that this student is doing. So first of all, the first few words are supposed to highlight your reason for the writing. You can use words like the objective of my writing is to, the purpose of my writing is to, or I'm writing because. Now, most people say I'm writing because, so I try to stay away from it. This is a good start. The objective of my writing is to. And then propose 3 innovative initiatives. Now here you directly get into the point. This is what I'm going to do in my email. So beautifully done. And look at the vocabulary, innovative initiatives. Instead of just saying some new things I want to tell you, no, he's using advanced words, and they will count towards a lot of points. Aimed at, again, a better phrasing, aimed at together is a great phrase to use instead of saying, initiatives that will do this. Aimed at augmenting instead of saying improving. A lot of you use that word improve, right? I always change that in your feedback because it's a basic word. You can use words like enhance or augment, augmenting health and wellness among our elderly folks. These are adjectives. Elderly, innovatives, and well, that's that in that paragraph. The more adjectives you use, the better. And throughout, you will see there are multiple adjectives used. Let's just look at that for a sec. Small things like local, and ensure access, quality health services. So defining the health services, quality health services, and meticulously wouldn't be an adjective. Outdoor is an adjective. Anywhere physical, anywhere where you have a word that defines the quality of another thing is an adjective. Something like social, what type of connections? Social. These are things that students mostly miss, and you have to describe that. For 2 marks, one is task response. You're more descriptive when you use adjectives, and the other is the range of vocab. If you use adjectives, you get more marks for that lexical resource. You also get more marks for a lexical resource or the range of vocab by using le's, which are adverbs. So here you have profoundly, conveniently, and you got anxiously. You have 3 adverbs. You just need 2 or more. So 3 is great for one task here. So that's good. This is perfect for the range of vocab. Let's see a few more things that will help in the lexical resource or the range of sentences or expressions. And that is the way the connectors are used. This also, by the way, helps you in the marks for structure because it is beautifully, the flow is beautifully done here. To begin is the first connector. Needless to say is the next. Likewise. Now, here's the importance. First of all, each paragraph has a starting. You have a purpose behind each paragraph. The flow builds really nicely. And what most people do is firstly, secondly, thirdly, right? If you do that, you will lose marks. You cannot use the most common and the most basic words. And here, not only is the word usage advanced, you see there are 2 words here, there are 3 here, and there's 1 here, and this is done on purpose. We try to teach this a lot to students, but really advanced students are able to understand this concept. This is giving the AI the variety that it is looking for. So you use a variety of phrases. You can also see the first sentence here is simple in body 1, and I'll tell you what the difference is. This is simple. This one is a little complex. This one is really complex. And this one is also complex. So you have a mixture of simple and complex sentences, not just simple sentences, or not just complex sentences. Look here, there's just one thing being mentioned. There's one clause, you can pause it and read it. There's one clause that is being mentioned, not 2 points. In this part though, there is one part here. The clause number 1 would go from here to here. Needless to say, forging affiliations with local healthcare providers would conveniently ensure access to quality health services. And the other part is this one, tailored specifically to their needs. And by the way, that's an adverb as well, so we actually have 4. So when you add another piece of information after a comma, that is a great way to add information. And you can see it's done here, not in any other place. So this is now giving us a range of, again, expressions, phrasing. This is something new that is not done anywhere else. So this is another added information which can make the sentence complex. Then when we use words like, where's that? Not only, but also. That makes a sentence complex. So the person says, likewise, initiating outdoor exercise groups meticulously designed for the elderly would not only, this is clause number 1, would not only promote physical health, clause number 2, but also foster social relations. So you get more marks for compound and complex sentences. Anytime you start a sentence with a with, you are going to make it complex because clause number 1, with the hopes of a positive response from your side, clause number 2, I'll be anxiously awaiting your feedback. And this is a template you can copy paste for these kinds of questions where you have some suggestions or you're waiting for some response and you are awaiting their feedback, their response, their appeal or decision, etc. So a good mixture of complex and simple sentences. You can also see this is a good conclusion at the end instead of just abruptly finishing, which is what a lot of students do. Then you can just see the amount of words, the advanced nature of them, the phrasing of them. It is all better than day-to-day English. That's what you want to do. You want to do advanced English. And in PTE Core writing, you want to be a little careful. You don't want to use highly advanced English. If you use too complex of an English language, you're going to lose marks, maybe. It's a big maybe because the AI might not be able to understand the context. So this level that the student has here is just perfect. Some other things are, if you see the commas, they're used a lot because there's a lot of extra pieces of information like this one that the student is giving, and then another information at the end of the sentence right here. So usage of comma is really important. You can see it's also used after every connector. Missing commas is a big mistake that students make, so be careful with that. If you, again, you can pause this and read it, guys. I'm not going to read it because some of you don't like it. You want an efficient video, so you can pause it and read it. But you would also see for each of the body paragraphs, body 1, the first bullet is answered. Body 2, the second bullet. Body 3, the third bullet. So each body paragraph answers one bullet point, essentially. That is how your structure is never going to have any problems. It is perfectly structured, one after the other, no problems in task response. More importantly, you make it easy for the AI to follow your thoughts and to see if you have answered each and every question. The other thing is, look at the wordings here. A weekly health education workshop. So it says a weekly health education workshop. Is that a problem? No, because it's really hard to rephrase it. By the way, in this case, it's actually better to use it to show the AI that yes, we have answered the question. Next, let's look at this one. Partnerships with local healthcare providers. Has the student rephrased it? Well, he said affiliations, which is great synonym of partnerships. Local healthcare providers, he's leaving that verbatim because, again, we want to show the AI that it is mentioned. But when we look at this phrase and we want to do body 3 with this one, it's a big phrase. If you copy paste all of it, all the words here, there are chances, again, it's never guaranteed, but there are chances you will lose marks because you're copy pasting the whole thing. It's a lot of words. So instead of saying outdoor exercise groups tailored for the elderly, the student says outdoor exercise groups, again, to tell the AI, I am answering that. Then he says meticulously designed for the elderly. So at some point, you're expected to paraphrase the words from the bullet points. Don't copy paste the questions, but copy paste enough to show the AI that, yes, we're talking about the relevant thing. Okay, these are some things to just trick the AI, but importantly, follow the format, follow advanced English, learn from our PTE Core course. If you want to write like this, the course contains grammar lessons, accent training, a lot of great tools, and especially templates that will help you score a perfect 90 just like this student. Please subscribe, like, and share as well, and you can find in the description the course link and a lot of great links for your PTE Core preparation.